Hello everybody and welcome back. We're continuing our investigation into the lines of geometry by talking about the slopes of lines. Now you may have already learned this in Algebra 1, but hey, let's learn it again just for fun. So the slope of a line is how fast it goes up compared to how fast it goes over. Another way to say this is that slope is rise over run. So look at line P. And if we're starting at this point here, -2, -2, how do we get to the other point on that line, 1, 2? Well, we have to rise 4 spaces, and we have to run 3 spaces to get to 1, 2. So the slope is 4 over 3. We can also use slope formula to find the slope of a line through those same points. And the formula for slope is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Let me show you how that works. Okay, first of all, we're going to set up, a blank slate to fill in. So slope equals, and then we're going to take the two y values and find the difference. So 2 minus -2. And if you subtract a negative, that's just like adding. So that's going to be a 4 on the top. Then we're going to take the y values, 1 minus -2. And again, we're subtracting a negative, so that's the same as adding. And 1 plus 2 is 3. So using the slope formula, hey, we got the same answer. So let's try another one just using slope formula. We're going to find the slope down here between h and e. First, let's just count rise over run and see what we should be getting. So it looks like we're going up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So when we do the slope formula, we should be getting 2 over 5. So let's see what happens. So slope equals, now we're going to take the y values, -2 minus -4. And that means we add because we're subtracting a negative. So -2 plus 4 is 2. And then the y values, 4 minus -1, which is 4 plus 1, 2 over 5. Good, we got it. Let's try another one. Okay, the slope between C and D. We always read slopes from left to right. We always read this way. So if you're reading this way, the slope is going down like this, yeah? So we should get a negative number at the end of this. So let's see what happens. We're going down, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, and over 2. Okay, now let's try the slope formula. Y minus y, -2 minus 2 is -4. 0 minus -2, those turn to plus signs, is 2. And -4 divided by 2, see, we can reduce that. It's actually divisible, equals -2. And good, we got a negative here for the slope because the line is going down. Now we're going to compare the slopes of parallel lines and the slopes of perpendicular lines. Well, we've learned about parallel lines before. These are all parallel lines here. See this? And parallel lines are lines that they're going in the same direction, they're in the same plane, and they're never going to cross. So what do we know about the slopes of those two lines? Well, let's look at slope A. We go up 1 over 2. So the slope of line A is 1 over 2. The slope of line B is actually the same, 1 over 2. All right, let's check C and D. So the slope of C, it's going to be a negative, it's going down, is -1, and the slope of line D is also -1. So if we compare these numbers here, what do you notice? They're equal. So the slopes of parallel lines are always equal. What about the slopes of perpendicular lines? We know they meet at 90 degrees, but what does that mean for their slopes? So the slope of line E is -4 over 1. The slope of line F is 1 over 4. So look at those. Do you notice anything? Let's go to the next figure. The slope of line G is -3 over 2. The slope of line H is 2 over 3. So the slopes of perpendicular lines are what we call negative reciprocals, or if you want to say it maybe easier, it's the opposite signs flipped. And let's look at that. See, we've got a negative here, no negative here, and then the 4 and the 1 flip places. We've got a negative here, no negative on this one, and the 3 and the 2 switch places. So the slopes of perpendicular lines are negative reciprocal, or their opposite signs flipped. So let's do some practice. Look at this figure here, and what do you think the slope of line AB is? You should get 3 over 1, or 3, and the slope of CD is 1 over 2. Now it asks the slope of a line parallel to AB. Well, if the slope of line AB is 3 and we want something parallel to that, it should just be the same. So the slope of any line parallel to line AB is also 3. What about the slope of a line perpendicular to CD? Now we need to flip the fraction and make sure it's the opposite sign. So if this is 1/2, we'll need to flip it and put a negative in front of it. So negative 2 over 1, which as it turns out is just negative 2. Okay, going a little bit deeper here, we're going to determine whether the line MN and the line RS are parallel, perpendicular, or neither. So first, we'll find the slope of MN using these 2 points. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, 4 minus 3 over 2 minus 0 is 1/2. Now we'll find the slope of RS. So we get 4 minus 1 over 8 minus 2, which is 3 over 6. Now we can reduce that to 1 over 2. So the slope of MN is 1/2. The slope of RS is also 1/2. Those are the same number, which means these lines are parallel. Let's try another one. So we've got some different numbers. MN, let's find the slope of that one first. We've got 5 minus 3 over 0 plus 1, because we've got 0 minus negative 1, which is 0 plus 1, equals 2 over 1. Okay, now we'll work on R and S. We've got negative 1 minus 1 over 6 minus 2, which equals negative 2 over 4. Now let's reduce that fraction, and we get negative 1 over 2. Well, they're not the same, but look, the 2 and the 1, those are flipped. One of them is negative, one of them is not, which means these 2 lines are perpendicular. Negative reciprocals. One more. So let's do MN again first. 4 minus 3 over 4 plus 1. 1 over 5, okay? And then RS, we get 2 minus 1 over negative 2 minus 3, which is 1 over negative 5. So what do you think about this? Well, they're almost the same. We've got 1/5 and 1/5, but this one's negative. See that? So they're not negative reciprocals, but they're not exactly the same either. So these 2 lines are neither parallel nor perpendicular. So that's it for this lesson. Next time we're going to do equations of lines, but for right now, just practice your slopes. Thanks for being here.